I'd say October 1st, 2024, about 2:51 on this first day of October, first day of the third quarter. Talk really quick about the market, some of the names I'm looking at, go from there, but pretty crazy day. I wouldn't say a crazy day, but waiting on the JOLTS data, ISM data at 10 o'clock, and then reports started coming out about this Iran retaliation, sending out intercontinental ballistic missiles or whatever were all the reports that were coming out. And then futures sold off. Who knows if some of it's the data, some of it's just profit taking, people taking advantage. Is it the port strike? Uh, who knows, right? You can make all these. You can create this entire narrative about today for a big sell off, right? You can say, wow, the port strike's going to cause, it's going to make the Fed's plans. It's going to change the plans for the Fed, right? The Fed's not going to be able to cut rates at the pace they want to, and then you have these geopolitical tensions. You have oil prices going up, so. I mean, if you want to make the case, stocks at all-time highs, closed at the 48th time at all-time highs yesterday on the S&P to make the case for a pullback. I mean, that would be it. Those are the ingredients. And here we are. The market found some support. So some concerns and just areas. So yesterday I was looking at 571. No, the day before was 571. We hit 570. Then that was Friday. Then yesterday was 570 and we hit 568. And then today I was saying 568. We hit 566 before bouncing. This is on the SPY. So look, don't want to see tomorrow go down to 564. But that 565, that was the handle I've been talking about for a while. So hopefully, if we do get some weakness or follow through tomorrow, that holds. But pretty remarkable bounce at 130 from 566. I guess some of it's those the strikes did minimal damage, no casualties. I hate you hate to see people lose lives, right? That's war is horrible. So I never want to see anybody get hurt on either side, right? Just horrible stuff. But to me, it's like what kind of regime or whatever do you have that your attack on another country is like publicized? Like everybody knows it's coming. It's like it's crazy. It reminds me of like back in the day with muskets, and they line up on the battlefield and they just stand there shooting at each other. Like I don't know. And nobody read the Art of War, whatever. It's just I just lays in question like what their real motive is. It just to make it sound like they're doing some kind of retaliation so they save face? Anyway, I mean, there's missiles in the air. People, it's anyway. So thankfully, nothing crazy. Hopefully, it doesn't escalate and blow out of control. But for now, futures have markets have recovered. SPY is back over 570. Well, it's holding 570 now. We'll see if that holds into the end of the day. But not too bad, all things considered. But we'll have to see how things. But the other thing, so a couple things I look at when we start getting pullbacks here. And first was the VIX, and the VIX was over 20 before. It's actually, if you take a look at the chart, it's actually not too bad. The VIX. I mean, well, not bad because of what happened in August when we had that huge spike all the way up to 65. But it kind of helps keep things in perspective. And October is the month where bad things usually happen, right? So when everybody thinks about every market crash or big correction or what have you, a lot of it, everybody will say what month. If you ask them what month, it would be October, right? So certainly doesn't bring good memories for folks. So I guess the VIX will help keep it in perspective. And then the other thing is the amount of stocks on the S&P over their 50-day moving average. So down tick a little bit, but still right at the 52-week highs here. Coming in today, I guess it was 83% of stocks on the S&P were over their 50-day moving average. It's down at 80%. So good things for now, but certainly things to watch. I'm not ruling out more pullback and a bigger pull into the end of the week. But good sign that we've bounced here, especially if geopolitical concerns or geopolitical tensions rise and there's more back and forth. Not only that, China markets are closed for the rest of the week, so that'll take out some of the volatility, right? I'm at some point expecting at least a 2, 3, 4% pullback in China markets. Not because I don't think they might go higher down the road, but just I mean it's up 25% over 5 days, up 2% again yesterday. Have to think at some point there'll be a pull, and when that happens, China ADRs will sell off and what have you. But if you take a look, I think that what's going on in China is definitely it's going to be a tailwind for markets, and kind of an unexpected tailwind. So the more I look at, the more I think maybe this helps the U.S. markets as well. All right, so that's that. That's overall markets. Some individual names, and first is WYNN, and just based on the premise in China that I talked about for the last couple days and on Friday, I just think WYNN is set to outperform, and it's kind of like an under the radar play outside of these other China ADRs like BIDU, BABA, JD, PDD, etc. So WYNN spiked at the open all the way up to 98, then gave back some of the gains or most of the gains with the pullback with the rest of the market, and then just took off from 11:15 or so when it was at 96 and change, went all the way up to 99 and change. I think it trades possibly to 105 this week. So I added some more strikes this time, the October 18th, and I was looking for maybe the 110s, but if WYNN is going to 105, 110, 115 in the coming weeks, the 115s will pay substantially more on the multi-bagger side. So I'm paying less risk for more reward. So that's kind of how I look at it. Not only that, I still have the 105s this week, which are almost flat, or maybe they're green now. I got to take a look in a second. So it kind of if it rallies, I'll close the 105s. That'll help offset or cover all or most of the cost of 115s, and then I'll just hold them because WYNN can be volatile, and could trade, get another upgrade tomorrow. It could be 105. It could trade up 7-8% tomorrow. So really like WYNN, and also a good sign that it's trading higher regardless of what the market's doing. So I think that the China trade is not gonna matter what the U.S. markets are doing unless we have a serious pullback. So that's WYNN. So really bullish on that name, and hopefully I can start locking some of the calls in to cover costs and ride the rest. You take a look at the longer term chart too, and I posted here, but I'll put it in the chat room. I mean, these areas. So 107 would be the next spot. If we get over 107, you start looking at 2024 highs, and then you start looking at 52-week highs once we get over 107, 108, and then I think it's blue skies. All right. So that's WYNN. BIDU, it's trading up almost near 110 here. I was looking at calls this morning, and I start looking at the premiums, and you know what? I'll probably just sit on my hands. It's been a great trade. I mean, a monster trade, so it doesn't make sense for me to keep chasing it. Can it go to 115? Maybe it does, but then the risk reward on the calls are not the same because they're more expensive. So even if it does go to 115, maybe you're only making 200% on the calls as opposed to the 500 or 800% or more. So I'll probably just sit on my hands on that. But obviously bodes well if China ADR is going higher. I think that will continue to help. WYNN will rise in tandem. So that's that. And then SE. So SE finally found a bid today, up nearly, it was over 4% at times, hit $98, down here at 97 and change. Only a matter of time before it's over 100. Similar to BIDU, I was looking, and I kept saying once it started to break out, I was going to look for some strikes to play for a move over 100 and then 110. But I still have my 100 strikes, and they're up. I guess the last couple are up about 600%. I got to look at the last update, but I'll probably just hold those for now. Was up 8 sessions in a row, had a slight little pullback at the end of last week, and then taking off again. I think it trades over 100 this week. So don't be surprised. I'm probably not going to add some today. I'll wait for the dust to settle, see what happens tomorrow morning. And if markets are kind of bid and there's no crazy volatility, the VIX comes down, I'll look to get some more strikes on SC. But again, you pull the chart back, 52-week highs, multi-year highs, hasn't hit these levels since the start of 2022. Once 100 breaks, you start looking 110, 115. Not ruling out even higher on SE. That's that. And then some other names I'm looking at. Roku had that upgrade from Moffitt and Nathanson, however you pronounce it. Bearish analysts had a sell rating upgrade to neutral, $80 price target. I was hoping for more follow through this morning. It did its typical gap and fade. It's hanging in there. I was looking at $80 calls. I think they're like 22 cents, 25 cents. Those almost look interesting. If there's some other catalyst or upgrade tomorrow, those could be a nice multi-bagger. And then you go further out on the October 18th, which encompass Netflix earnings. And I think Netflix reports on a Thursday. I think it reports on October 17th. I have to go look. But that would help get some premium build into the Netflix report, which, I mean, recently hasn't had much move or impact on Roku when it's had earnings, but it certainly could get some premium build into earnings. So those some strikes I might look at. I'll probably just pass for now, just because who knows what's going to happen overnight here with geopolitical situation. Unfortunately, with the market pulling back, Biogen sold off. It's down about 1.4%. I would hate to see it be like this triple bottom setup and break under 190. So hopefully it holds here. Again, it's only going to take a 2-3% move to get it going and over $200. And then the calls will pay big. And then I'll look for some strikes into November. I think at some point that's going to take off. Maybe that needs an analyst upgrade for kicking the butt. Corbis, disappointing. We need to hold $20. Broke under 20. Actually, it was almost like the buyers just disappeared for a second. It was an air pocket, went all the way down under 19 for a minute, and then bounced. Hopefully that gets back over $20 into the closure tomorrow. Still like that one for much higher. And then Redfin. And, I posted a chart. Now, for some reason, I can't find my annotation, but it's still a nice trend line, higher highs, higher lows. At some point, it's going to break over 15. And then 1760. Once it breaks 15, I'll add some more strikes. Trying to think of some other names. I keep looking. I was watching Dell this morning. Almost came down to that 111, 110 handle. If it gets to 111, 110 and bounces, I'll get some more strikes. Sure enough, it gets down to 112 and bounces. So I'll just sit on my hands there and just, I mean, the calls I added are done anyway, and pending any crazy M&A or what have you. That's that. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. BIDU, WYNN, Roku. Yeah, I think that's about it. And yeah, that's it, folks. Well, let's have a great afternoon. I'll be back on audio tomorrow. Rock and roll.